Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's dream.
Today on Around Kansas, join us as we take a look back at the Smokey Hill Trail and a BOD marker in Aitchison. Then join us for a story about diamondback water snakes. And we'll have a poem from Ron Wilson and end with a documentary piece by Oscar Rivera. Stay with us. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Welcome to Kansas.
Well, hello. If you tuned in to watch Around Kansas, you tuned into the right place because this is Around Kansas, the program that's about people, places, and things that make Kansas a great place to live, work, play, and come visit. I'm Frank. I'm here in Topeka, and my co-host, Deb Goodrich, is out in western Kansas. And so we have stories that we kind of trade back and forth and all of that. Well, here we are coming up on Labor Day weekend. And I don't know if you know the history of Labor Day. Labor Day, of course, was created by the labor movement. And of course, that was at the end of the 19th century and into the 20th century. That was a time when people worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. There were no holidays, no sick leave, no nothing. Anyway, so the labor movement changed all of that. So it was decided, let's have a Labor Day. And it was decided, okay, it's going to be the first Monday in September. And it took a while, though, for each of the states to begin to say, okay, it sounds like a good idea. And then in, 1894, it became a federal holiday. So the first Monday of September every year is Labor Day weekend. And of course, it also signifies pretty much the end of summer for most people, even though the calendar doesn't say so. But, you know, Memorial Day to Labor Day, that's summer, and then we get into fall. And here in Kansas, fall is really an exciting time. This time of year now, the sunflowers are in bloom. And if you haven't visited one of the sunflower farms in the state, you really need to do so because it is just absolutely breathtaking. You look at all of those sunflowers and go, wow, this is really something else. And of course, there are all kinds of sunflowers. There are the great big ones and the smaller ones. And so go take a look at them. Now, I don't know if you know how the sunflower got its name, but the sunflower actually follows the sun during the day. When the sun comes up in the morning, and then the sunflowers tend to face the sun all day long. Isn't that something? A little bit of botany there this morning. Anyway, this is a great time of year in Kansas with all the festivals going on and the sunflowers in bloom. And well, we finally got some decent rain, so hopefully the trees will begin to turn, and especially then, be sure to go in through the Flint Hills because that's absolutely gorgeous this time of year. Okay, so we have some interesting stories today. One is about a soccer player from Honduras who came to Kansas and, well, fell in love with it because he fell in love. And Deb will have a story on that. And of course, our wildlife story is going to be about diamondback snakes, the non-poisonous kind. You didn't know that? Well, yeah, there are some. And then a story about the Smokey Hill Trail. So some great stories today here on Around Kansas. So after you take a look at these messages, we'll have some great stories.
Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to western Kansas.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandring with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
As we are marking the grand reunion of Forsyth Scouts, we have been following the Smokey Hill Trail. This historic route across Kansas is preserved through the efforts of the Smokey Hill Trail Association. This group, along with Around Kansas and the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism, is sponsoring the Grand Reunion, which began last weekend at Fort Harker and moves to Fort Hays for Labor Day weekend, then to Fort Wallace, then to Colorado. Let's revisit the Smokey Hill Trail and some recently made history. An enthusiastic crowd assembled at the Riverfront Park in Aitchison. It was a clear October afternoon with just a hint of autumn's chill. Elton Booger, president of the Smokey Hill Trail Association, took the microphone and introduced Mayor Jack Bauer. Bauer admitted to the history fans that until he was contacted about the placement of this marker, he had never heard of David Butterfield. So he did some research and was delighted to find that Butterfield represented many of the qualities for which Aitchison prides itself, including an entrepreneuring spirit. Jerry DeBaker from Colorado, great-grandson of the businessman, dressed in period clothing and told the crowd how pleased he was to be present for the dedication of the marker designating the beginning of the Butterfield Overland Dispatch route. Jerry grew up with family stories and has been researching the Smokey Hill Trail and the BOD for most of his life. He is a founding member of the organization. The unveiling of the BOD marker along the Missouri River was a highlight of the 2015 Smokey Hill Trail Association Conference. Speakers Dr. Michael Olson, Lee Whitley, Stanley Copeland, Paul Baskell, Tim Zwink, and Leo Oliva illuminated the rich history of the eastern piece of the trail. Each year, the location changes to enable different aspects of trail history to be interpreted and enjoyed through presentations and tours.
I would like to invite all of you to join the Smokey Hill Trail Association. We are a group of like-minded historians and amateurs that have an interest in the trail system. And one of the trails, of course, that we're the most interested in is the Smokey Hill Trail. It runs from Aitchison, Kansas, down along the Kansas River to Fort Riley, and then on into western Kansas along the Smokey Hill Trail, out into Colorado along the Big Sandy, and then on up into Denver. Our function as an association is to research and explore the trail, to find out as much as we can about it, and to preserve that history. And our ultimate goal is to get the trail recognized as a national trail. We need members to help us with that. If you have an interest in history, if you have an interest in the trail systems, and particularly if you have an interest in frontier history of Kansas, we would like to have you join our association and become a part of our group and a part of our mission.
Fort Wallace was the fightingest fort in the West. Fossils, Indians, soldiers, scouts, wagons, trails, pioneers, stories. Discover the story of Fort Wallace and the people who served here, the people who fought here, the people who settled here. Wallace County, where the past is present.
With nearly 100 years of broadcasting excellence, Ren Radio is now live on the internet playing hit songs of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Join Jack Diamond, Mac Collins, Les Glenn, Frankie C., Antonio Barber, Wings Callahan, and the real Don Steele for some of the best music ever recorded. Hear it at rendigitalmedia.com or get the Ren Oldies Radio app in Play Store or App Store. And tell Alexa, good times and great oldies on Ren Internet Radio.
Summer is busy at Tarwater Farm and Home. We have just about everything you'll need for your summer projects, and we're consistently competitively priced. Tarwaters can help make your grass and garden grow, and we have a huge variety of equipment to cut it. If you have a farm, Tarwaters has the products and equipment to keep it going strong. And our expanded parking lot will make it even more convenient to shop. So come see us at Tarwater Farm and Home in Topeka.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandring with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
150 years ago, 50 men rode from Kansas into the Colorado Territory where hundreds of Cheyennes waited. They met on a fork of the Arickaree River and made history. Join us as we retrace their steps at sites in both states, Forts Harker, Hayes, and Wallace, the Beecher Island Battleground and Ray, Colorado Museum, with added events in Lincoln. Join us for the grand reunion of the Forsyth Scouts.
This segment brought to you by the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center in Oakley.
We have some amazing viewers out there, just like you, and we appreciate your sharing your story ideas, photos, and videos. As you have demonstrated with your amazing images, Kansas has some incredible scenery and wildlife. Please continue to share those stories and images by either posting to our Facebook page or emailing me at the address on the screen. Frankie and I appreciate all the amazing things you do. It makes our job so much easier. And now, one of those amazing stories brought to our attention by a diligent photographer. There is yet another snake story, yet another scary snake out there, even though the experts tell me it is harmless. Jay Miller posted pictures of snakes in the water at Cheyenne Bottoms, in the canal next to the viewing tower. Multiple snakes, long snakes. Jay estimated they were about 6 feet long. Someone commented that the snakes were diamondback water snakes, and Jay agreed. I fell out of my chair, just when I thought it was safe to go back into the water. Again, let me say they are harmless. 6-foot-long diamondback water snakes. Good grief, is there no end to the scariness? Harmless. Ha! Just in case you should encounter a snake in the pond or the lake, let us turn to the good folks at Fort Hays State University for a description. Larger adults may appear solid brown to olive when they are dry, but the diamond-shaped pattern is usually discernible on wet individuals. The tail is ringed, and the rings are the same color as the dorsal markings. The belly is entirely yellow to cream color. Adults normally reach 30 to 48 inches. The largest specimen from Kansas, a female specimen from Douglas County, was 55.5 inches. The heaviest example from the state, a female from Lyon County that weighed 3 pounds 14 ounces. Found commonly in farm ponds, reservoirs, and streams along the Kaw, below Manhattan, the Merdazine, Neosho, Verdigris, and Arkansas, below Great Bend rivers. The diamondback water snake inhabits rivers, sloughs, ponds, backwaters, and oxbows. Active from March to September, it basks during the day on brush, logs, and grassy banks along the edge of the water. In the summer, it searches for food at night. Large litters ranging from 13 to 62 young. Yes, you heard me right. 13 to 62 young are usually born from August to early October. It feeds primarily on slow-moving or dead fishes. Mating probably takes place right after emergence from hibernation. Many males may court one female at the same time. The females are usually quite a bit larger than the males. The pair usually will select a basking perch, such as a shrub or branch overhanging water for mating, though they have been observed on the banks or even in the water. A big thank you to nature photographer Jay Miller's making us aware of this creature. Welcome to Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in Oakley, Kansas on I-70 at exit 76. I-70, after all, is America's Main Street, and we're right here on Main Street for you. Now that I'm an Oakley resident, I still come in almost every day, and I sit and listen to the conversations of the people around me. You know, the guys who are talking about the big elk they just bagged, or the folks who are taking their kid to college for the first time. People just traveling up and down the highway. Real people, just like you and me. And they find just what I find here, real people to serve them. There's history, there's scenery. We hope you'll stop and see us soon. Welcome to Oakley. The reaction we get most often from visitors to the Fort Wallace Museum is wow. With the addition of the Ray Pump Organ Collection, the wows just got louder. Visit any time, but mark your calendars for the weekend of September 8th, when we join in the grand reunion of Forsyth Scouts with an encampment, entertainment, and special tributes. Better yet, join the Guardians of Fort Wallace to be a part of the fun all year long.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Farming is a gamble. A farmer puts a crop into the ground, a rancher raises a calf, not knowing what kind of weather conditions, market conditions, or other factors could affect it in the end. So farming is a gamble, just like Las Vegas. This is a poem I wrote titled Gambling Man. Did you hear about the guy who went on an amazing trip and hit it rich, winning money at an amazing clip? I hear stories of those high-rolling gambling bigwigs who roll the dice in Vegas and really hit it big. But I'm way too conservative, or risk-averse, they say, to take a chance on losing all my money in this way. Yet maybe the biggest gamblers aren't in Vegas after all, but rather in the country at agriculture's call. That's where a farmer takes the gamble to plant a crop of wheat, never knowing if it will survive the drought or freeze or heat. And just as Lady Luck can snatch a gambler's money when they win it, a hailstorm can claim a Kansas wheat crop in a minute. A mother cow takes a year to breed and feed and thrive, but that whole year income's lost if the baby calf does not survive. The market shows the farmer the value of his crops, but it's a gamble to sell before the market drops. So maybe the biggest gamblers aren't the ones with Vegas claims, but rather the farmers and ranchers out here on the Kansas plains. I think I'll take the risks I know with crops and with cattle, instead of trying to beat casino odds in some Las Vegas battle. Did you hear about my friend whose Vegas trip caused such a fuss? He drove there in a $20,000 car and came back in a $100,000 bus. Happy trails.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm, so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we're glad to answer it and work with you.
My name's Karen Cope, and I have multiple sclerosis. When you have MS, on the outside you look great, but you know what's really going on in the inside is chronic body pain, chronic fatigue. And there's lots of days that I'd wake up and say, oh, please God, help me get through this day. You know, after stem cells, Chloe, my youngest daughter, she was asked by my father-in-law, how's your mom doing? And Chloe said, Grandpa, I've never had a mom like this before, because she was 8 when I was diagnosed, and she really had no other memory of me but being sick. It's really the simple things that we do as a family, like play cards, and to be able to win at cards. You know, they all laugh because I used to repeat myself and say, what hand are we on? You know, where are we at? And it's just been really a true blessing from God, and we're really thankful.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Folks, I am really delighted to share this next segment with you for a lot of reasons. First, I love sharing the work of talented people, especially folks from Kansas. And I love encouraging people who are making art in whatever medium they choose. Oscar Rivera of Garden City has a unique story to tell. As a transplant to Kansas, he has a unique perspective on the Sunflower State and how it feels to move to a new country. This is the first installment in Oscar's documentary, From Honduras to Kansas, and we plan to share other clips from this heartfelt film.
When I first came to Kansas and people asked me if I like this place, my answer has always been, yes, I like Kansas. And then some of those people were somehow surprised. I believe that the beauty of Kansas is hiding in the nature that makes up this American state. Here in western Kansas, where I'm living now, life can be slow and peaceful, and I like it. When I decided to move to Kansas, I knew that it would mean starting a very different life for me, and I also like it now. I like very much to appreciate the small details of life. I have always thought that in simplicity is the greatness of everything. When you move to a different country, you start missing many things from your homeland. Fortunately for me, people here in Kansas are very passionate about soccer, and I love it. I love it so much. It wasn't easy to make the decision to leave everything and everyone behind to start a new life. In my case, like many others, I had to learn to speak a different language. It is not easy. I'm still learning, as you can tell. My name is Oscar Rivera. I'm originally from Honduras. Let me explain to you how I ended up living here in the Sunflower State. I also want to show you a little bit of what we are and what we have down there in my country, in Honduras. This is San Pedro Sula. I was born here in 1983. For me, this is the best city in the world, but I will tell you about it in the next episode.
That's it for today. I'm Frank. Deb's out in western Kansas, and we'll see you somewhere around Kansas.
This is where it was.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy's dream. We're the best part of Dorothy's dream.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.